This is a scanned image of the finished piece, and here's the drawing that it started out as. And then this is a photograph of the piece, not a scan, so you can see the difference of the color. And the pencil sketch going at lightning speed here is just a same idea, back to that basic egg shape, circular form, center line for the eyes, the nose, extending the nose out, putting all the snout of the details symmetrical at first, and then the mouth kind of extended very, very wide, the hands kind of expressive, just all penciled in. Fun to draw that fast, and just placing everything in there. Just kind of a light sketch. Actually, it's pretty heavy. But now that we're gonna, instead of inking it in, gonna watercolor it. So had I anticipated that, I could have kept it lighter from the beginning. But that's not gonna hurt it, because either way, you want to take some of the graphite off. So this is just the kneaded eraser at lightning speed. And just rolling it over it is going to take up some of the graphite, and then kind of actually rubbing it so it takes most of it off. So you just have a nice light sketch to work with. Now the watercolor, again, primary colors, secondary colors, brown and black, white of the paper for the highlights. And as far as the color scheme, just kind of using a kind of a warm analogous color scheme with yellows and reds, and just kind of lightly painting this in. So it does look different on the film than it does on the paper, but just so you're aware of it. And it kind of lays that piece out. So you're trying to use less, if you use less water, more paint, a little bit of a dry brush, and then as you set this out, usually kind of block everything in with a color, and then the interior of the mouth is going to be the darkest, so just kind of going on that color scale from yellow, orange to red, and mixing just slightly, ever so slightly, a little bit of blue in there to darken it, and trying to hit a little darkness into the composition so that you have a value range. It's going to be a high key, a low key, or middle range values. And then as you start to continue painting, blocking out sections with a slightly darker value of that local color. And since it is transparent, it's a little trickier to mix without leaving blobs of watermarks, as they say. But you can kind of work that in as you get going, kind of put the paint down, and if it needs to come off with a little bit of the water, you can kind of dry brush it out there. Here you can see this is a little bit of purple, blue and red mixed in there to get the darker values. But you don't want to go too dark too fast. You do want to give it a range so that you can see your value pattern. But you don't want to get too dark fast. You want to kind of, sometimes, bring it up slowly so you get a little bit more details on the inner mixture values. And still thinking of the drawing. This brush is a point, circle or round brush, as they call it. Rounds and flats that they have. So you do have a point on the end of the brush. Allows you to find kind of some of the detail that goes around it. And it does relate a lot to drawing, as you're actually drawing with the brush sometimes. Hard part is doing the super fine detail, because sometimes the point of the brush doesn't hold depending on the quality of the brush you have. So it works out pretty good. There's a little texture in the dry brush, so of all the elements of design, line, shape, value, color, texture, this has all of them placed in there pretty good. So there's the final. There's a picture of it. And then the scanned image is a much lighter